Hi everybody, today we're going to be working on the I can statement. I can identify proportional relationships by looking at an equation. Our first equation is y equals negative 3x plus 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation to make a table of numbers, and then we already know by looking at a table if something is proportional or not. We write all of our ratios out. So we have an x and y table. X always goes on the left. And what we do is we're going to check different points, and then we're going to see if they end up proportional in the end. I always start by checking 0 because we know we have to have 0, 0 in our table because a proportional relationship always has to go through the origin. And if 0 doesn't work, then we already know that the equation is not proportional. So what I do is I take my equation and I'm just going to plug in different numbers for x right here. The first one is 0. So I have, and then I'll just type that into my calculator, negative 3 parenthesis 0 parenthesis plus 2, and that equals 2. So my first point that I checked is 0, 2. I can already tell this is not proportional. And I can justify it by saying because it doesn't have the point 0, 0. Done. We finished our first example. I'm going to erase this and we'll try another one. Our next equation is y equals 5x. Okay, I'll make my table here with my x and my y, and then I'm going to choose different x's to plug in here and type them into my calculator. So my first value I always choose is 0. I'll do 5 times 0 on my calculator. I get 0. So this one has 0, 0. We need to check some other points now to see if those work. All right, so I'm going to choose some negatives and some positives always. I'll choose negative 2, and I'm just going to, instead of my 0 right here, I'm going to type it into my calculator with a negative 2. And I type the parentheses and everything. I get negative 10. Right? Then I'm going to try negative 1, type it in my calculator with a negative 1, and I get 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. All right, now I'm going to try some positive numbers too. We always have to have some negatives and some positives. First positive number I'm going to try is 1. Plug it in. 5 times 1 is 5. Right? Plug in 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plugged in 2 there. Okay, now I can write my ratios y over x and see if this is proportional. Okay, start with the first one. Negative 10 over negative 2, negative 5 over negative 1, 0 over 0, we don't check that one, 5 over 1, 10 over 2. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 equals 5. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is 5. 5 divided by 1 is 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so all of those are equivalent, so I know this is a proportional relationship. Proportional because my ratios are equivalent. And I would just write that out as my justification. All right, we have one more example. I'll just erase this. Okay, our final example that we're going to try is y equals 10 over x. Again, we're going to make a table from this. So we have our table. X is always on the left and Y. And I'm going to check 0. I'll type it in my calculator, 10 over, and then I'm plugging in 0. Ooh, when I type this in, I get error. This actually there isn't an answer when you're dividing by 0. This is undefined. Okay, so that's a little sneaky. We're going to have to try some other points and see what happens. So I remember I have to try a negative point. I'm going to try something. Here our expression is 10 over x. So I want to find something that I know divides into 10 and choose that to be my x point. So I'll try negative 5. Because I know when I type that in, I will get a whole number answer. So 10 divided by negative 5. That equals negative 2. All right, and now let's try a positive number. Something, again, that divides into 10. So we'll just try 10. I'll plug that in, type it in my calculator, or maybe I don't need to. 10 over 10 is just 1. All right, now let's write our ratios, y over x. We have negative 2 over negative 5. We're going to skip over the undefined one, and we'll do 1 over 10. All right, when I type these into my calculator, this one is 0.4, and my next one is 0.1. Those are not equal to each other, and we have that weird undefined thing in the middle, so this one is definitely not proportional. And our justification can be the ratios are not equivalent. Not proportional because the ratios aren't equivalent. Okay, I hope this helps. Have a great day.